Welcome to the structure analysis class. So in this class we will discuss about the analysis of truss. So in the last class we have discussed how to calculate the indeterminacy and the determinacy of any structure. So let's get started. So what is truss? Truss already you may have known. Truss is a structure that is composed of a slender members joined together at their endpoints. The members commonly used in the construction, basically these are of wooden struts or metal bar or angles, channels, these are the things. So all the bars are actually connected in a plate. That plate we call it gusset plate. If you see here, it is a enlarged picture of gusset plate. So gusset plate, all the 4 5 bars are connected through bolts. All are bolt jointed, and all the ideally in the analysis what we analyze is all the bars are actually passing through a single bolt, but in reality actually there is a gusset plate. In that gusset plate all the bars are connected and the loads are applied. Please note that truss member always carries the axial force. Either it may be axially compression or it may be axially tension. So truss cannot take any moment, and loads always acts in a joint on a truss. So now in our normal day-to-day structure, you see truss are used in many places. For example, in railway platform, if you visit in railway platform or airports or shopping malls or large warehouse, garages, everywhere you will see this type of structure, truss. Even in the corridor, long corridors also sometimes we use. In our Ecfitech campus also you will find this type of truss structure are there many places. So these truss are used in many locations. So, but primarily we use truss as a roofing member. Why? Because truss are normally used where the span length is very large. For example, this is a span length. So maybe for a warehouse, or shopping mall, all these things, you need very large span length. So in that case, if we go with normal conventional slab pattern, then we may need to provide additional column at the center. But to avoid providing the column at the center, or maybe to increase the space, indoor space, then we will normally use trusses, roof truss. So in general, there are total 10 types of roof trusses are available. So depending on the application, we can choose either of any of the trusses. So for example, if the span length is within maybe few meter, then we may go with first scissor type or maybe Hawaii type or Pratt type. So this is the example you saw. This is a Pratt type of truss is used. So now if you want very wide span, so in that case you may go with Warren truss, or maybe if you want to show that shopping workshops and all, we go with sawtooth type truss. We'll discuss each and every truss in this coming slides. So here you see a roof truss for scissor type. So scissor types are used normally when the span length is reasonably smaller, not very high. In that case, the shape of this truss, if you see, it is a scissor type. So that's why this is also called scissor type truss. Then another type is Hawaii. So if the span length is little bit moderate size, then we can go with Hawaii type or a Pratt type, or then Warren type. If the length is, if the span size you want is very large, then we'll go with Warren type. Or maybe this is a sawtooth, what I mentioned, that maybe in a workshop buildings and all you may find this type of trusses. So, these trusses are actually used as a roof truss. So, roof sheeting material will be kept here, and through purlin. So, this is one beam will be there here. Each joint one beam will be passing. This view is a cross section view, but if you imagine a longitudinal view, this will be a beam. So, one beam will be resting in each joint. So, that beam actually we construct, and through this beam, through this joint, actually loads are transferring to the truss. Then these are the another type of truss, that is fan truss or flink. or bowstring or three hinge arches. These are the typical arches, typical truss available for the construction. Now, if you want a flat slab type, then you can go with bowstring type. So you can see this is a bow and the string shape. So if you want a flat slab, then you can go with this one, or Warren type. Last slide we saw that also can be used as a flat roof truss. Next, we'll discuss. First one we discussed is that a truss is used as a roof panel in a roof. Now, next type of category of truss is bridge truss. So trusses are used extensively in a bridge. You saw in the many bridges and flyovers, trusses are used like big olden structures like Howrah Bridge if you visit, or maybe Gandhi Setu, or maximum all big bridges are actually made up of trusses. These big trusses are actually installed, and then the loads are transferred through truss to the joint. To ultimately, it will go to foundation soil. So truss bridge truss is little bit different from the that roof truss what we discussed in the last slide, because here primarily loads are acting on a slab middle part, and these slabs are resting on these beams. This beam then transfers the load into the truss. Ultimately, truss transfers the load into the surrounding soil. So in truss, you see different types of elements are also there. So for example, you can see that portal bracings are there. So these type of bracings, then inclined bracings will be there. So all these bracings are actually provided to increase the stability of the entire truss. So sometimes, in Howrah Bridge also there will be the suspension cable you will find. So above suspension cable, they normally constructed this type of trusses. So right here also you can see one real life picture of truss. So we go truss where we need the longer span. So this a bridge maybe combination of truss and then the concrete structure. So whenever we need very large span, maybe for example one vehicle or a ship want to pass. So in that case we may need very large span. So then we will go with the truss in that portion. So that is the bridge truss. So these are the different types of bridge truss available. So whatever we have studied as a float truss, this similar thing, same name, but the modification of shape is there. Like here, see how it is look like, how a Warren truss, all these are truss normally used for construction of bridge. So depending on the span of the bridge and the load coming, we can go with the different types of bridges for rough trusses. So now classification of coplanar trusses. So how actually you can construct a truss? So we have a very simple truss. Simple truss means when you have a triangular shape structure, or if you connect three member bolted member in a triangular shape. So this is the simplest structure of a truss. So then you add 1 point and you add 2 bar. Like that you increase the total shape of the truss. So that's how actually we construct trusses. Now if you see left side, this picture, this is not a truss. Why? Because if this is rectangular thing they made. So if we apply a load, what will happen? These all joints are pin joint, right? So pin joint means it will rotate. It can rotate. If loads are applied, then what will happen is the entire truss will now buckle and it will come down in this direction, because all the joints rotations are allowed. All joints are pin joint. Pin joint means the hinge, the rotation is allowed. So in that case, your truss won't be stable. So our basic simple truss is a triangular shape. So this is a triangular shape simple truss which is stable. Then add a one joint and add 2 bar, then you can increase the shape of the size. Then see, this is another simple truss. So basic triangular shape, then you add a joint and add 2 bar, connect with 2 bar. Then you will get, you can increase the truss like that. Similarly, you add one joint and 2 bar you connect. So like that you can make a simple truss. So here are all the three examples of simple trusses. So class here we are discussing about the coplanar truss. Coplanar truss means all the 2D truss we are discussing. So basically we have three types of trust. First one is simple trust, that's what we discussed. Next one is compound trust. What is compound trust? Compound trust is when you connect two or three more simple trusts and then makes compound trust. For example, this one, if you see this A, B, C, D, this is one simple trust. In the same case, here also we have simple trust. So two simple trusts we connected and we made our complex compound trust. Similarly, depending on the requirements, we may construct we may need simple trust or maybe we may need compound trust depending on our requirements. So here also, if you see, this is a simple truss. These are simple truss, and then we connect it. This big triangle is a simple truss. Small triangle is another simple truss. Simple truss. Then we connected with three bar, and this is our compound truss. So compound truss is nothing but the combination of two or more simple trusses. Now, what is complex truss? Complex truss means these members are connected in any way, any random way. There is no particular fashion, but the truss is stable. It is over determinant structure, and truss will be stable. So this is a complex example of complex truss. Now, next question is how to find out the determinacy and the stability of the truss. So in the last lecture, we have discussed about the determinacy and the stability of beams and the frame structure. But here we'll discuss how exactly you can calculate. A little bit change will be there because in compared to beam, so in beam there are actually three types of reactions you will find: one horizontal, one vertical, and moment. But in truss, if you see, all the joints are actually pin joint. So pin joint means there will be two reactions, or hinge joint. That's what we discussed. So pin joint means there will be two reactions. So one will be vertical upside, and then you have horizontal one. So you have each two reactions. So when you have the two reactions and there is no moment won't be there because all are pin jointed structures. So each joint, basically we can write two equilibrium of equations. What is this two? Summation of all horizontal forces equal to 0, summation of all vertical forces equal to 0. So basically we can write only two equilibrium equation for each joint in a truss. And how many unknowns are there in a truss? So obviously we have the support reactions. So these are also unknowns, plus each bar in a truss actually carries some axial load, that is also unknown. So each bar will carry different axial loads. So each bar will have one unknowns. So total how many unknowns are there? Total how many unknown reaction will be R? R is the external reactions, plus each bar has one unknown. So each bar, so if there is a B number of bar, then total R plus B unknown values are there, unknown reactions are there, that we have to calculate if you analyze a truss. But how many equilibrium equations are available? As I mentioned, in a truss, each joint has two equilibrium equation. Summation of all horizontal forces equal to 0, summation of all vertical forces equal to 0. But why not summation of all moment equal to 0? Because truss is a pin joint, right? Pin joint means it can't take any moments. So this is not valid, only these two, horizontal and vertical, is valid. So each joint has two equations. We can derive two equations from each joint. So if total j joints are there, then total equation we have 2j. If r plus b equal to 2j, then we call it this truss is a statically determinant truss. If r plus b or b plus r is more than 2j, then we call it statically indeterminate structure. Similarly, if you find that b plus r, if the reaction is less than the number of available equilibrium equations, then also our structure is unstable. Even though b plus r is more than 2j, then also our structure may be unstable if truss support reactions are concurrent. So as I mentioned before, 2-3 lecture before, that if all the reactions are concurrent, means parallel to each other, or all the reactions are actually meeting at a single point, passing through a single point, so in that case also our truss may be unstable. So thank you. Next class we'll discuss more about the truss.